Happy Friday. Welcome to Small Table Studios Redline. Today we're going to be redlining GumRoad. So GumRoad is a really cool up and coming platform. I've heard so much about it. A lot of people in my network are on GumRoad. I'm like, should I be on GumRoad? So I'm going to be trying to be on GumRoad. But while I was playing around with the platform, I thought this was a really actually good opportunity for me to perhaps redline GumRoad's product activation and really see as a user, does it meet certain criteria? So moving forward for Small Table Redlines, we're going to be actually following a very set framework of questions that I believe kind of maps out the whole PLG kind of system from activation to monetization. So what we're going to be talking through in this redline and future ones are, number one, what does the user think is happening in the product? Number two is, what does the product actually deliver in terms of marketing value? Meaning, is what you're seeing the product say, is that actually happening in the product? Number three, as a user, is trust being built or broken by the product? And number four, does the product and the pricing align? Meaning how you're moving through the product and how the product's pricing is designed, is that good or not? And these four things, like I said, really walk through the core experience of the PLG system and the kind of loop that you'll see from activation to monetization. So with that, let's dive into it. So this is the dashboard screen that first pops up when I logged into GumRoad for the first time. Now, I love a good getting started checklist. It's what I look for, because obviously when you go into a product, I'm like, what the hell is happening here? One thing that I will say is what I would appreciate, because of the nature of GumRoad, is if there was a little module here, maybe in the bottom or something, where it asked me what service are you trying to sell, and then it showed me templates of that specific service to help me get started. Now, I'm a really big fan of templates, because that's how I think if you're kind of going in for the first time, you want to know who else is doing what and when. So I would actually recommend that maybe a templates thing be added here based on what do you want to sell as a question. And I feel as if that helps kind of break that cold start problem that like Squarespace, Notion, they all have this issue of, okay, where do I start? So I would say add the templates here. That's likely where I will be going first to get inspiration. But other than that, I don't really have any other notes on this. Okay, let's move forward. So I actually included this. So this was from a screen that is coming from this page. So this page, it says, what do you want to sell, right? And so what I really liked is that actually they said service products are disabled until your account is 30 days old. Now, this is a really good example of good friction. Again, I'm trying to write better, I swear. That's really horrible. Actually, let me just get rid of that. Oops. Okay. So this is a really good example of good friction. And I'm going to tell you why. So when I hovered over these services and I saw that service products are disabled until your account is 30 days old, this tells me that they want you to stick around for the 30-day period. And if you want commission or any of these other advanced service offers, they want you to essentially act like it. So you have to hit certain milestones that they're going to assume that you will do if you do stick around for 30 days old. So I'm guessing that they're making the assumption that if user A sticks around until day 30, they're more likely to complete the initial actions beforehand, such as creating, your landing page and kind of going through with creating your product on GumRoad. So I really like that, because it tells the user, hey, this is a service that we're only offering people that are actually here to do something with their GumRoad account. And if you make it to that 30-day time period, you will get access to this. So they're not completely giving it away for free. And the friction description is actually helping them here. So I highly appreciate that, and I think that's a really good call. So bravo to whoever designed that. Okay, so this is the page where you kind of go through and create your product. So it's asking you name, description, thumbnail. So there's two things that I actually want to consider here. And just by the way, this is like an extension of this. So in terms of what they're asking and why, there's two types of users, I'm assuming, that are going to come into GumRoad. The first type of user is, I already do something and I already have something that I now want to sell. So they're not going to have a hard time putting this together. In fact, this product was actually probably meant for that type of user. There's the other type of user where maybe they're like, well, I kind of heard that GumRoad can help me make money, but I don't really know what I want to sell yet. This will seem pretty overwhelming to that user because they're asking for a lot right up front, which is okay. I mean, that's the whole point of the product, right? They're asking for description, cover, when you go over here, additional details, call to action, and pricing. So everything like that. So my initial thought here was, it's clear who GumRoad is trying to incentivize, what type of user GumRoad is trying to incentivize. And it's the user that probably already know or has something that they would actually like to sell. And for those other users that don't really know, I'm assuming that there's a lot of fall off on this page because they say, well, I'm not really sure, I'll come back to this later. And then they don't come back to that later, most likely, right? So I don't know if this bothers GumRoad, probably not, but I wonder if there's a way that GumRoad could pull a retention move here. And if they come to this page and they drop off, maybe they can then get an email that says, hey, we noticed that you actually haven't gone through with this page. We get it. It's overwhelming. Here's some templates that you can maybe jumpstart from, right? So in terms of kind of pulling those users back in, if that's warranted, that's a really good way because this page does seem overwhelming. One other thing that I really like is they've added this integrations tab. Now GumRoad, that tells me GumRoad actually realizes that community is a very, very big part of selling a product, and they've made it easy to do that. So for that realization, I think that's really great. Okay, so in terms of the content, so this is really interesting because it's not about this page, which is, okay, upload the content you want, upload your files, or start typing. I think what's really interesting is this publish and continue. So what happened when I hit publish and continue, or when I tried to hit maybe share or something like that right here, it said, hey, you can't actually do that until you publish and continue. So it's telling me that GumRoad is trying to force you into this product flow that gets you to publish. My user hindrance with that, though, is that there is a lot of proving out that still needs to be done for GumRoad if I'm a first-time user, right? I don't know if I want to publish and continue right now because I actually just want to see how this will look like. I want to get more of an idea of, okay, now that my content is up here, can I see the whole experience before I do publish? And I think that's what Squarespace does really well, is they let you actually build it out to your liking, really customize it, see how it looks like, by expanding expanding your website to fill your whole browser. And then it says, hey, now that you've seen this, you've worked on this really, really hard, now you should actually probably publish your website. So I wonder if there's a different flow here where instead of publish and continue, maybe there's something that can be done that says preview or something like that, right? So with the preview button, maybe that doesn't actually have to maybe pop out, but what if that sends an email to you, or, if that does maybe pop out, just a very high level view of, hey, this is what the user will see. because ultimately what Gumroad should try and be going for is making the person who is trying to sell or set up a product feel really, really good about the user experience. Because not only are they worried about, will my product sell, but they're also worried about, how does this look for someone else when they're trying to purchase my product? So there's really like a two-sided kind of thing here that needs to be addressed. And I think that can be pretty easily addressed by adding a preview button or just making it abundantly clear that there's no risk involved here by publishing. Because when I hit I'm not inclined to hit publish and continue, because I honestly am not confident in the whole process yet. And then lastly, let's talk about subscribers. So this kind of brings me to the monetization portion of this for Gumroad. So obviously Gumroad makes money when you make money in terms of product, right? They are taking, I'm assuming, a percentage of fees from what you make, just to, I mean, obviously platforms need to make money somehow. I think one of the biggest things that I've noticed, even from other, people that I've worked with, is this is a really, really big blocker, is someone that doesn't have a natural audience. How do I get started? So I'm going to assume that there's also a lot of drop off happening in the flow here, because now that they've created all this, they're like, okay, now I can share my subscriber page. I think what would be really well is if you removed a little bit of that mental road, or if Gumroad removed a little bit of that mental block and said, hey, here's where and how we recommend that you share your subscriber page. And they may do this in an email, but I think this is also pretty valuable real estate in terms of the design. So when you're thinking about the behavioral design component of it, what is the one thing that you want the user to do, right? So the one thing they're trying to get you to do is share your subscriber page. So is there anything else? So I would actually make this CTA bigger. Make this bigger, bring this smaller, because no offense, but this image isn't really doing anything for me. And then that frees up a lot of room on the bottom for you to put resources and put things that if you're, in Gumroad's product team, that the user's probably going to think about. They're going to say, well, what if I don't have any subscribers? Or what wording do I use? Or how have other people talked about it? So really use the prime real estate here that's existing on the bottom by narrowing down this image, making this call to action button much, much larger, and then just putting those resources there. So this page doesn't really feel like empty, dead space. It actually feels like, hey, Gumroad wants me to succeed as well. And now I'm going to go down a hole of how other people talked about this, and that will motivate me to talk about it as well. So that actually comes to, let's talk about, did Gumroad hit everything that I talked about initially in the framework? So number one is, what does the user think is happening? And is that reflected in the product? So what the user thinks is happening is, they're going to probably set up a subscription and try and sell their product. So that's what the user thinks is happening. And that tracks, because that's how Gumroad is externally marketing their product, which is good. So number one, I would say is good. It passed. Great. Number two, what is the product actually doing? So is the product carrying the external value that they're communicating forward internally? I.e., is the product actually helping the user achieve what they're saying they're going to do, which is make money doing a side hustle? I would say yes, the product is doing that very well, and they make it abundantly clear. I think there's more spaces that the product could do better in for first-time users, and there's a lot of room for maybe some behavioral design components in there in terms of UX. The third one is trust built or broken for the user? I would say trust is built mostly. It may be at risk for breaking because it's not there's not enough sandbox environments, in my opinion, for the user to confidently feel trust in what they've built on Gumroad, which is why I was saying maybe the preview button or something like that, because that's what I would be looking for in order to say, hey, is this really working for me or not? Awesome. And then lastly, just pricing and product align. I would say so. I think if Gumroad is trying to get people to sell the first product and that's how they monetize, that they're doing a fairly good job at getting them there. I think what could be better is, like I said before, the templates that I pointed out here. Most people love a template. I love a template because it kind of gets that cold start problem out of the way. And it also fixes kind of the cognitive overload that you very naturally have when you come to screens like this, right? Like when you're coming to screens that have a lot of information on it, that have a lot of inputs on it, like this one, there's a lot of cognitive overload that occurs, but you're like, oh my God, I'm not going to sit here and write out a description right now. So maybe if there's a way to input those things, or maybe pull inspo from templates that you've already seen, I can guarantee you that that will actually help Gumroad with their time to value when it comes to the first impact that they're trying to push the user to. So I would say yes, but there's a lot of stuff. So this is like, I don't know, an about thing. So this is yes, but kind of thing. And that's it. Let me know what you think. And let me know if you're using Gumroad and you've actually experienced any of these things while you're actively trying to build something out, or you've already built something out. I'd love to hear your thoughts.